Hey guys, welcome back to the CX show in 2026. Thank you for watching our videos last year. It was a good year. We met a lot of our customers face to face and had great chats. We want to continue with that on this year. As always, I have my two co-hosts, John.
Ciao.
And Alex.
Guten Morgen.
And we have a special guest here, Catherine from FBA. So,
hi, everyone.
Thank you, Catherine, for joining us. We'll get into it. Tell us a bit about FBA.
Well, thanks for the opportunity and great to be with the Cold Xpress boys, a very good family business. So Family Business Association's been going for about 27 years now, and very simply, we exist to support family businesses to thrive. And when I say these stats, around 70% of Australian businesses are family businesses employing 50% of the workforce, most people's eyes go, wow.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've got a big business community in Australia, but the majority of businesses are family businesses, small, medium and large.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, we joined FBA last year. So me and Alex have gone to a couple of your events, which I tell everyone, and I probably said on the podcast last year, the first event that I went with you guys, that was at in Ringwood, Daisies. Right?
Yes.
That was like when I heard them speak there, I'm like, I found my people. I've been to some other networking events and that was all good, but I don't know, there was something about how the after five, is that what it's called?
Meet the owner.
Meet the owner.
Yeah.
It was really good. I loved how the whole thing got put together, and we're actually doing one this year ourselves. Yeah, I think in July. I think we are. So that's exciting.
Is it on the FBA payroll?
He
promotes them more than Cold Xpress.
No, I don't. No.
Yeah, you do.
We're a fan business, Dad, and I've also I'm in a forum group as well with FBA, and that's very good. And some of our customers are members. Some of our other customers, I've already said, hey, go have a look. I just think it's a good organisation, right?
Your point about finding my people and finding my tribe is something I hear all the time, that people do belong to a lot of different groups, which are fantastic and really fabulous for them. But there's something unique about coming to a family business
100%.
Event where people it's the vibe, as you'd say.
Yeah. But I feel like,
Go Dennis.
you should always be yourself, but I feel comfortable sharing, certain stuff with those people, right? That I wouldn't share with some other groups, because they get the challenges that we face as business owners. So that's it's been good for us to be there. But tell us, how do people generally come to you? Do you go to them? For us, I just looked online. And I found you guys and sort of just went that way. But how do you attract, new members? And what is your, strong point where you can help other businesses? Like what sort of categories can you help businesses, that come to you that are family owned?
So people find us in all different ways. I do quite a lot of public speaking. And so lifting the profile of FBA is actually really important to us, so that businesses who've not heard of us before or don't know what we do and are struggling potentially about what they're going to do around succession or some other family business issues, family business dynamics or whatever, they just know we exist. So that's really important to continue to lift the profile. We get a lot of referrals. So people like you, Jack, who go, I've drunk from the Kool-Aid. I love it, and you genuinely embrace it. So there's a lot of referrals that come through as well, and I think we've got a whole lot of things. It depends. Well, there's so many different programs available. You've talked about a forum group program, and really that's like having your own little advisory board, peer-to-peer learning, meet 10 times a year, independently facilitated. And that group becomes very strongly bonded together.
That's right.
That's fantastic. We have conferences. So we have a big conference every year, and this year it's in Hobart in May. We have state-based conferences. We have events like Meet the Owner. We have other sort of networking events, because we know that family businesses want to get together and they just chat, no matter whether they're small, medium and large. The biggest business in the room and the smallest one have all got something in common, and they genuinely have this generosity of spirit in terms of sharing and empathy for what people are going through. And, I spoke last week at an event at the CEO Institute. I was on a panel And I started to give a few examples of the things that I hear from family businesses. And this particular example I gave was as a business that was startup effectively, mum and dad, and this is quite some time ago. Then the next generation comes in, one sister not in the business and two brothers, and the two brothers hate each other. Now, from a cultural point of view, it's not you two.
We don't hate, we just dislike sometimes.
But from a cultural point of view,
You should have seen the last 2 weeks.
but this is going to be my point actually. So, they can't agree on anything. The next gen's coming through. They don't have that animosity amongst each other, but it's going to be very difficult for them to get that transition of succession happening so that they can actually get on with the business and park the emotional side of things and that sibling rivalry or just dislike of each other. So I was told that story, and then at the end of my session, I was just having a cup of tea and someone came up to me and he said, "Everyone at my table thought that you were talking about me." And the poor guy, because I've never met him before, I said, "I really wasn't." But, it's one of those things.
You're feeling guilty about something.
Yeah, he doesn't like his brother at all. And then I got the whole story about that. So it was really, so that's a really good example of having a conversation and someone going, "Oh my God, how do you deal with this problem?" Because they are challenges. So family businesses have those challenges of business, but they also have the complexity of family. And so it's sort of, we all talk about those general business conditions, cost of doing business and all those sorts of things, complaining about workforce and not able to get people, electricity, all those sorts of things. Every business has got those problems. The next layer, and it's not all doom and gloom either. There's so many good family business stories where multi-generations, staff feel like they are part of the family and all those sorts of really positive things. So it's a fascinating area to be in.
Yeah.
So I've talked about conference, I've talked about the forum group program.
Yeah.
We do a lot of education because we know succession is the biggest issue that most family businesses are facing. And then what we're also finding is, I'm not looking at either of you.
We're going,
I want to talk about that stuff
We're
today,
going
'cause,
through that now.
we're
going through that now.
Yeah.
But then what will also happen
Where
is,
some people are more pig-headed than others, but that's all right.
I don't judge. And then what happens is what we're seeing a lot with the next gen who are coming through, they're much more focused on governance around family businesses as well. So the founders are often, they're great innovators, they're really hardworking, they really have a vision and they go for it.
I'm sensing a but.
No, and then when it comes to, you never say but.
Okay.
And when it comes to letting go, that's terribly difficult because often it's that identity piece where, I am the founder, I have built this business, it is me. And so that real identity thing is a big challenge. And then you've got the next gen, you've got then the governance piece starts often in the next generation, although not exclusively. And I think there's this saying that if you've seen one family business, you've seen one family business. So no two are the same, even though you've got common themes and common issues that you face. So the whole governance piece, family business dynamics, we've got courses around that as well because we know there's friction at times. And how do you manage the multitude of issues that face a family? How do you park things at work so that when you go to Christmas Day, you're all having a lovely family time as opposed to talking business? Don't know what happens around your Christmas table. So it's a really fascinating area. And I think from my perspective, supporting family businesses to get to where they want to go, it's not always about succession. Some businesses have to sell because there might not be anyone to take over. There's all sorts of other options. But it's about supporting family businesses to have the best experience as a family business that they can.
No, that's
what do you want to bring up? Yeah, you're chomping at the bit for something.
I'm just
bring
saying,
it out. Bring it out.
We're in the middle of succession planning right now. Like mum wanted to get out of business, I think 5-6 years ago, right? She wanted to retire, right? And
Which we kind of did
Yeah, generally
3 years ago.
Yeah, I think you've done it probably twice now, where mum and dad get the business to a point where they can really step back. You know, they don't have much debt, everything's running good. You know, they've got the teams in place, and then there'll be an opportunity. There could be a new site, there could be a new venture bar, and all of a sudden they come back. Well, dad more comes back in, and then mum comes back in a little bit. So, you know, I've seen that pattern happen twice now. But where I think twice is done, I think the next one is be up to me and my siblings to sort of manage that. But right now, you know, I take it like, you know, in the forum group, a lot of the other members that I'm with, some of them are 3, 4, 5, 6 generation family business, right? I think I'm the only one that's still first or second, I think, because ours is technically still first generation that owns it and runs it, and then you got some second generation here that are starting to run the day to day. But the biggest issue that, you know, we're starting to find is, you know, when I speak to the other guys in the forum group, they're obviously a little bit too late down the line. So for me, it's like, okay, well, I've got an issue between first and second right now. So what was it like, you know, from...
What do you mean issue?
No, sorry, no. I won't say issue. I'll just say, like, you know, there's just, I'm in that earlier stage where, you know, where things aren't set up. You're still doing things on the go. Like, we don't have a board. We don't have it. Like, the business is at a size where we need to start putting more structure in place. You know, and these are conversations after speaking to, like, you know, like Francesco Flutti, asking him about his sort of, you know, their structure. And then we had Brendan and Vin on for Constantine understanding theirs, you know, like, yeah, I think we're at the stage 1 to 2, but we need to set that up. But, you know, this is Dad's 5th kid, right? Like, he's got 4 of us kids, right? But this is like his 5th kid.
That's the identity piece.
And you know, I understand that he will never, like, I got a feeling he will never ever let go, because he just
see, that's not true.
Well, you say you want to let go, and then you get,
but I'm not comfortable to let go.
Okay, 2 months I'm out, and then like a week in, you're on back about this. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm managing this. Like, why are you? Not why you're bothering me, but why are you bothering me?
Because for me to completely let go, I need to know that you are doing things a way that I think is okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But I've been next to the last 15 years. Like, you should.
Okay.
When you say, okay, you're here, this
Jack,
position, you should feel comfortable that way. Alex or Jack or whoever's going to do, you know.
No,
And
it's different.
Here
It's
lies
different.
the tension.
Yeah,
I'm going to say it was real quiet until... Well, how come
no, it's different. And I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you an example now, right?
Yeah.
When my dad had a fruit shop, right? And he'd go to the market every day, right? And when I was at school, I'd go with him, and then, you know, when I finished school, I would still go with him to the market and help him. So I'd been to the market like 5 days a week for years and years and years, right? I know the market. I know where he buys his things. I know everything, right? Now, when I took it over by myself, right, under your thought process, no problem, because I've been doing it all these years by myself. No.
I know where
no
you're going to go with
right?
this.
Anyway, I remember the very first morning I went in there on my own. I looked around and the place looked 5 times bigger. It was just different. And it's like, where do I go first now? I've got to go get this. And I'd go over there. No, I don't like the price there. I don't. And like, it was coming towards the end of the morning, and I'd hardly bought anything. Right? And then I went through, and you know, and I rushed around, and I remember going back to Dad, and I said, I don't know why, but it was harder. And Dad said, look, don't worry about trying to be perfect that first, you know, on your first day. Don't worry about that. He said, well, he didn't say it in those words. I was going to say that.
I was like, I kid you not, when you said that, I was like, that's not how I remember it.
No, he would never say that. But he did say, he goes, look, even if you pay what they ask, as long as you buy everything the best, don't worry about it. As you know, you go back, but just buy the best, right? And, you know, just that little bit of reassurance was all I needed, you know. So I thought, oh, well, I can't really stuff it up, because even if I pay a bit more, I'll still get the best, you know, I'll put my margins on when I get back. So it's different when you finally get to go on your own.
That responsibility you felt on that first day.
Yeah.
But I'm not by myself. I'm one of many, and that was a one-person show. This is a complete different.
Yeah, but
it's structure. It's teams that I need to, you know, like I've been saying to Dad recently. I am your team. I'm part of your team. I now need to go build my team, right? You know,
And the things that I struggle with is you say, oh, we need a board, we need this and that. I said, but why do we need these things? Because we've gotten to where we have without these things. So, you know, if it's
Are
made...
you a bit bigger now than when you were when you started?
yes. But I've got more people now too. You know, I've got Alex, I've got Jack, I've got Jacinta.
yeah,
you
we're
know?
still part of your yeah, but you know,
There's
that's
three
a good question there.
main
That's
soldiers.
a good question. When should a family business or any company look at putting a board on? When do you like?
Again, that's really horses for courses. And do you know what's really interesting? There's a thing called an advisory board as well. So what you can do, rather than setting up a formal board structure, you could have an advisory board, and you might say you've got some expansion plans. I'm making this up completely, and you need to investigate a new site, and you need to build stuff. You might say, do you know what? It wouldn't hurt for us to get a few outsiders in here to on a project basis almost. So it's not it doesn't have to be forever. I think people think about boards as, you know, you set a board up and you've really got that board forever. But advisory boards can be more fit for purpose for a particular strategic area that you're in. It could be your entry point to then deciding whether you want a board. So again, it's about level of comfort as to what you want, and it's also about recognising what you don't have that you need from an external viewpoint. And so I think they're the sorts of questions you ask yourselves. And then you think about your governance structure, and I suppose, you know, what happens, John, what happens if you don't wake up tomorrow? Is everything sorted? I don't know. So, you know, and your mum, you know, your mum's clearly been a really big part of the business, and mums often are in this type of situation as well. So what do you, as the next gen, know about if something happened, and this is what I hear all the time, communication and early communication around succession so that everyone's comfortable with it. It's not just okay, we've got to do this now. Again, another example, I had someone ring me, was quoted in the Fin Review actually quite a while ago now, and in it I said, you know, succession 3 to 5 years, 10 years. And this bloke, who's a head of a family business, rang me from Singapore in an absolute lather, and he said, Catherine, I have just read this article, and he said, I'm 76. And I went, you better get on with it. So you know, there's this whole thing, the communication and the dynamic amongst the family, it means that John's got to be comfortable, and you as the next generation have got to be comfortable, so that you actually get to the stage where you go, this is really functional and we're ready for anything.
Yeah, it's a good take. What do you think?
John's not smiling much.
No.
He's thinking.
No. I was just... See, I don't really have... we are so close to stepping back.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have really anything to do with the day-to-day running of
Then
the
why are you
business.
annoying me for?
Because I want to make sure that you're doing it right.
I'm just kidding.
You know,
I'm just kidding.
I'll say to Jack, what about this? He goes, Dad, why are you worrying about that? So, you know, when I don't get that answer, I'm thinking, well, all you got to do is say, well, this is how I've dealt with it. Bang, 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 bang.
That's probably
Would you have done anything different?
Maybe that's a personal thing for me, but for me, it's like, why is he asking me this? He should already know that I'm going to do the right thing anyway.
Yeah,
Communication, though. It's in your head.
Yeah,
You haven't.
You're saying, I've been here next to you for 16 years. Come on, you know. Yeah, but I still want to know.
Yeah.
I still want to know, you know,
But if you want to step back, like you
how
never
did you
step
deal
back
with that?
if you're always, yeah, but it's also the same things too. Like it's the same things.
Yeah, but well, if the same things are happening, then there's a problem because we shouldn't be having the same
it's
things.
the same topics. You know what I mean? Like it's not the same issue. It's the same topics. You know, and we'll always have repeat certain issues. Like there's always going to be a truck breakdown no matter what we do. There's always going to be an issue of this no matter what you do, right? There's always some issues will just always happen.
Yeah, okay,
over time,
and it's how you handle it that sets us apart from other people. But I just want that reassurance, and then it's no, that's good, you know. But if I don't get the right answer, then what are you hiding? What are you trying to not tell me?
No, it's not.
You
It's
know?
just it's for me. It's like I'm just got pressure to do all this sort of stuff, and I feel like it's pressure that I don't need. You know
Okay,
what I mean? That's what
and
feel
then
like.
I
feel
look
like
at
it's pressure
comments
I don't
like that
need.
and think, you think that's pressure? Mate, you got no idea what pressure is.
No.
If you had this all at the same time, and that's what most founders come across,
Yeah.
right? Heaps more pressure of other things that just come out of left field, I'm thinking, well, how are you going to take care of this if you think you're under pressure now?
No, it's pressure. It's additional pressure that I don't need from you questioning. That's basically what it is. It's not like I'm not coping. It's just
you shouldn't look at it like that. You should look at it as,
I don't know.
you know what? Yes, I'm going to reassure my dad. I'm reassuring him.
There's a lesson, Jack.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to reassure my dad.
I'll take that one.
I'm reassuring him.
I'll take that one. But
That's one for the founders.
Yeah, I don't know. It's but yeah, we're working through that now.
And can I just add something else? What doesn't make me full of confidence is when I see you arguing with your siblings about something. See, to me, that's
fucking hell.
no, that's like.
All right, clear example. All right. We'll take gloves off. Okay,
gloves off.
I told Alex to do something. He doesn't do it. What do you want me to do?
What have you told me to do?
Do you want me to fire him? I can't fire him. What do you want me to do?
Oh, you can. I've fired him a few times.
Yeah, I know. He still rocks up here. But I'm saying, what would you like me to do? You know?
Well, tell me. This is what I told him to do.
Okay.
See, the problem is you treat him differently than you do other people.
I expect more from him.
Yeah, but stop expecting more from him.
Why?
You look. Even though I should expect more than him of you than other people, but if you have really high expectations of someone, you're probably going to get let down. Look at him. Treat him the same way you would another employee, and you wouldn't speak to him the way you do. You might offer him a little bit more guidance and a little bit more help. You know, because you will say to me, you will say to me,
no, I'm just making sure you get the cameras down.
you will say to me, you know, I told Alex to do something. You know, I don't think he's ready yet.
Because he doesn't do it. But if someone else, I'll
then
tell
Alex will come to me because I will then bring it up with him.
Yeah.
And I'll
Me
say,
and Dad, we've got a good relationship, so I'm pretty straightforward with him. Our communication's good.
Alex.
Continue.
you know, I'll.
You know we've got cameras in the offices, right?
I say to Alex, Alex,
Roll the tape. Roll the tape.
I say to him, Alex, Jack just said this, bang, bang, bang. He goes, Dad, he goes, what do you want me to do?
I know where he's going to go.
He doesn't sit down, he doesn't tell me, he just throws me in the deep end and says, just deal with it. And that's...
And do you think I would do that?
Hang on, but
do you think I would do that?
the fact that he hasn't already answered speaks volumes. I'm just letting you know.
Hang on, did I tell you what to do on Saturday, right? Did I tell you to do A, B, C, D? Did I?
You said...
did you answer that question, yes or no?
No.
Okay.
Because then when I go back to Jack with your comments, he says, Dad, I told him, I stepped him through it. Bang, bang, bang. He goes...
Yeah. And what I say to you, I said also there was another person next to him that heard it because I called him and he answered, right? And I asked, and he was there. So just verify through him.
So when Jack
if you think
told
I'm
you-
lying or Alex is lying, you can verify through him.
So when he said to you, do it step by step, but you wanted to play golf, didn't you?
On you got to be more specific.
On Saturday. Which day?
On Saturday, yeah. I had a tea time booked here.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was
at
more
1
important?
o'clock?
Yeah.
At 1 o'clock.
So, but did you do work? Because work comes first.
Okay, so what they're referring to...
I'm not going to mediate.
No, that's fine. What they're referring to is I had to organise certain pallets to arrive here from interstate, and I had to tick off the boxes. Now,
This was for the judging for AMIC.
Yeah.
now,
So it was really crucial. Yeah.
So for the last for the last 4 years, I've been involved doing it with another person that was in ops team that's no longer here. So Alex has come in to sort of do that, and so he was a part of it a little bit last year, and now this year when he's come in, I said, right, Alex, this is how we do it. Bang, 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 bang. And so it's not like he's new to it, right? All good, right? He goes, okay, all right, no worries, right? And that was it. And then I followed up at 3 o'clock, and I said, oh, did you do this? He goes, no. I said, what do you mean you didn't do it? That's when I was speaking to you. He goes, I'm going to go in tomorrow and Sunday and do it. But our partners that you need answers from, they work on Sunday. They're open on Saturday.
I had to organise these. I was given this position, this role on the Thursday, and with pretty much half it was done. I wasn't sure what was done, what was not. So I was still trying to find my way.
When did I give it to you?
Probably that Thursday.
The week before.
No, that Thursday. Oh, sorry, the week before. Yeah, that Thursday. So I've had.
So you're 6 days in.
6 days in. 6 days in.
Okay, cool. To something that you were kind of familiar with, because
I didn't do it last year.
You'd been to the last 2 awards night. You understand what we did.
I've eaten the meat.
right?
Does that mean I had any involvements in?
And last year,
Seriously, you can't say he's...
Hang on,
Dad, you just park the side, mate. All right.
Dad's been eating salami since for how long?
I don't care about that.
No, I'm just saying.
Whatever your point you're trying to make, I don't care. Right. Last year, you were involved. You sent out things to the applicants. Yes.
No.
Yes, you did.
No, I called.
Remember, emails are documented.
I'm so glad that they are documented, so I can prove this wrong. Because I tried to search up my own. I didn't send emails out. No, someone else sent emails out.
Right. Okay.
Now, I was instructed to. I had a list of people.
Sure.
Call them
Yeah.
to see if they got the labels all good.
The last year.
Last year.
Oh,
correct.
so you're familiar with some of the processes.
That's the only process I was told to do last year.
Okay,
Now this
gotcha.
year I got
Yes.
a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
So the other half of it. Yeah,
See
go
the
on.
cockiness here?
I got a spreadsheet.
I wouldn't say that's-
I got a
how's that
spreadsheet.
Yeah, you're cocky.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll put. It's all right. I got a spreadsheet this time around saying, all right, you need to send them more labels. All right, now. I didn't know what states had the delivery address of the partners we use in each state. I didn't know the addresses. Now, could I find them? Absolutely, and I did find them. That wasn't an issue. The issue I had was the processes and the steps of what we did last year that I could give people the same service. Now, my beautiful brother over there never showed me any of the steps to go through. Did you sit next to me and be like, this is what you need to do, this is the label, you need to send them this.
Yeah.
You did that.
Yeah.
You did that.
So you weren't aware to do anything.
didn't do it.
You weren't aware.
You
to,
didn't-
you,
you did not-
you were
you
not
did not-
aware.
you did not
You
see
weren't
that.
aware to do anything, right? And
Catherine, can you feel my pain at the moment? Can you feel my pain?
Anyway,
Jack, all I'm saying is-
Poor mum as well.
We're dragging
For the golf on the weekend, I had a tea time booked. Yep, I had a tea time booked. Now, given, work comes first. I get that.
Do you?
But there's not much I could do when the stock's on a pallet from interstate coming to me. I can't check it off when it's in a truck, not in my possession. So, in my eyes, I did all I could at that particular time.
on Saturday when I called you. Yeah,
On the
correct?
Saturday,
so you
yes.
couldn't do anything.
Yes, on the
So we
Saturday.
didn't
And I
have-
went in on the Sunday as well when the pallet come. That's
No, hang on, back up. Sorry. So on Saturday,
Yeah.
when I said do this, that, call these people because remember that each state has told you what they're sending,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there was a couple that were missing, and
Yeah.
I said call those people.
Yeah.
Did you call them
No, I already found out what would happen to them. They sent directly to
for all the states?
Yeah, there was only
Okay.
one that didn't get sent to me, and I wasn't sure if it wasn't.
So why did we have to deal with things on Monday and
Which one?
and
Well,
Tuesday?
the one in Frenchville
ones
that
we
Chris.
didn't
Hang
know.
on.
Anyway,
I'm going to explain it. No,
Alex, we're going on and on. But
Come on,
you know, the
we
point,
are going on.
the point is just like it's difficult. I'm finding it difficult. If I tell someone that's not a family member to do something, it gets done. If I tell another family member, I feel like there's a bit of a
It's the way
questioning,
you tell that other
you know.
family member is not with the same instructions or guidance that the other staff member. That's the only issue is. If you give me the same guidance, the same instructions, the same, I wouldn't say help, but the
Alex,
same.
the instructions will be the same. And I don't want to talk about it more because now I'm getting a little bit frustrated. But because the other person was right there, and I came and I said this. He goes, yeah, you did say this. I said, okay, cool. And only then I found out that you'd left and gone and played golf, which where comes first? Dad knows that. I know that, right?
Again,
But
I couldn't do anything.
you could have.
with the
You just
truck.
don't show up to the thing.
The truck, whether or not the
Let's
box
move
is
on.
on that. Okay.
Let's move on.
So can I just make a comment
Yeah,
there?
sure. 100%.
So in your forum group, for example, you can express your frustration about a particular situation and they are all going to have words of support and advice and ways of doing things. And that's part of being a forum group.
Yeah.
You'll actually come back and go, I'm going to do it the same way, I'm going to do it differently. I've heard different perspectives from all these people that have exactly the same situation that I've just described.
Yeah, I can't wait to, because I think it's, we didn't have one in January. We got one into this month because
Yeah.
it's just happened. I'm definitely going to raise it and get that few points on it. There's actually a lot to discuss. There's also, which was hard. I had to let go my best friend who worked with us for 10 years. That was hard
11.
for us. 11 years.
Is hard.
Alex is now taking over his role, but that was a little bit difficult to do. Although I think I'm a bit surprised that I'm one where I can separate friendship and work. I'm pretty good at that. I know some people aren't, but I can switch off the emotion and say, nah, this is like, because this is my, my livelihood.
It is a
right?
business.
And business comes first unfortunately, before friendships, right? I have to always put that first. And by doing that, it puts family first if I do it that way.
Yeah.
Which for me is one of the important things.
So, and for me, I would find it really hard to separate those two because if you want to hurt the business, you're actually hurting me.
Yeah.
So there's no...
Because it's your identity, it's you.
Yeah. So if you disrespect the business, you're disrespecting me.
Yep. And that is that
Right,
whole thing. You have a lot of family businesses have very long-term employees, and one of the reasons for that is they are feel part of the family. They feel like they're, they really care, and that's a really very special culture, that extra step, that extra mile that people will go to because they feel part of the family.
Yep.
How do you think the Emerging Leader Program helps build future leaders?
The Emerging Leaders Program is a really new one for us. So your group is actually second group. So we had one in Sydney launched last year, then yours, and then we're just about to launch another one in Sydney. And what's been really exciting about it is there's a formality about it in terms of learning, but there's also the informality of it, that you are building a cohort of colleagues who are becoming friends, who you can pick up the phone to and you can say, whether it's a business issue, whether it's a personal issue or family issue, you've actually got a group of like-minded individuals and you are learning stuff along the way about leadership and about yourself and about, how things operate. So, your own personal brand there's so much in that 2-year program that I personally think is so fantastic for emerging leaders for the next gen coming through, because there's nothing really like it available. And I think over time, as we get more and more groups up and running, that's a whole group of people who have a better understanding about how things work than they otherwise would have at a personal level and a business level.
Yep. It's been, I'm in that, so it's been good. At the start, it was interesting to me that some of the people that are in there don't actually work yet in their family business. They might work maybe part time or whatnot. They're doing studies or whatnot, and through that, that's where I've been finding where it never came across in first or second generation. I think maybe it started between second and third onwards. Is this rule where I know Footy Cheese have it, is that if a family member wants to start work in the business, they have to go and work outside external 5 years, right? Yep. And I think I'm not sure if did content guys do that? Or no, maybe they didn't. Maybe someone else did it. But someone else did the same thing. And then there's a couple in the forum group, they also do the same thing. I'm just thinking that's interesting, right? And what's your take on that?
It's a really common thing, actually. So again, this comes back to governance. What are your rules? What do you want to set up for success? And so it is actually a very common thing. Cooper's Brewery, for example, they have a rule that you cannot enter the business till you're 30, that you have to be university educated, and you have to apply for a role, and if you're not up for it, you don't get the role.
Yeah, right.
So there's actually not a lot of family members that work in the business, but there are a lot of shareholders. So that's one example.
Yeah, okay.
Then there's another business that I was speaking to not that long ago, and it's a big food business actually, and he said there is a job for everyone in our family in this business, but it's not always the managing director role. So again, he was talking about his nephew actually, who works on the factory floor, because that is what he can do.
Yeah.
Now, challenging for him is he has the same surname as the business as the owner. So you reckon he doesn't cop it a lot at work, but that family position and governance structure and rules and all those sorts of things was there will always be a job for every family member, with that caveat of not always being the boss.
Yeah,
that's what you would do.
Yeah, that's
and it's great. I think getting that common understanding is actually the important thing, and what works for the business, and also reviewing it every so often, because sometimes as generations go on, you then have cousins and more cousins. It's kind of manageable for you in the way you are at the moment, because you're a smaller family from the business perspective. But wait till the next generation comes along.
Yeah. Well, we had at one stage we had all the kids here, and my niece as well. I mean, we've had nephews and that come
Yeah,
through.
like a lot of my cousins have come and gone over the years
Yeah.
in between jobs.
Yeah, if they get stuck with a job, then they come over here and
Yeah,
we'll employ them until they find something else.
Yeah.
And I remember my youngest daughter, Rebecca, she was talking to my niece, and I'm like, "Girl, you're supposed to be working. Why are you talking? Why are you on your phones, you know? You're setting a bad example for everyone else." And then, you know, when Rebecca said, "Oh, I've got I applied for a job as a nanny," blah, blah, I said, "Take it, go, please go," you know?
And it's a really interesting point in terms of how family members are treated.
And she would always, well, not always, but she would more than not come late to work and everything. I'm thinking,
and people notice.
would you be like that if you were employed by someone else? And then when she did the nanny job, she's always early. She's always on time. No one had to get her.
Sorry, you said late to work and Jack was looking at me.
What time did you come to?
You were late this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got back from Wodonga at 10:30 last night.
Okay, so what's that got to do with...
Given I get an extra half hour sleeping.
No, soft. Your generation is soft. Sorry, you're on your own in that one.
I saved $800 yesterday.
Did you play golf this morning?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I was in last night at work.
So how come you were late?
So what was the photo this morning? Where was that from? That was
I took that the other day.
Oh, okay, cool.
I just wanted to show
posted it this morning. No, I'm just kidding.
that
Anyway.
yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, I got back yesterday late because and I got back around 10:30, and I was speaking to some of the warehouse staff to see some issues. We lived about 10 minutes away.
Why did you go to Wodonga?
Because I didn't want to get a subby out to do it. I'd charge $800 to do it. My bad. Next time I'll
That was a plus for you. What are you doing?
Wow.
Why are you attacking me now?
Oh, because I was attacked by him. He said,
Yeah.
you shouldn't. You don't.
Family business dynamics.
But see, to me, that was
To get
there was
a
nothing
subby
wrong with
to
what
go
I
out.
did yesterday.
So this is a good viewpoint where you think it's a good idea. I think it's not so much a good idea. Let's say you have somebody, right? Their job is to say, let's say you got to get out 50 deliveries that are left behind, right? So Alex needs to get out 50, right? There's 10 that he can just jump in a truck and go do it, but then he can't manage the other 40.
He
would
can,
just go
on the phone. He can.
You can say that, Dad, but
No, you
but
can't.
yeah, you can
You
say
can't.
you did that. You
Sorry.
did that
I've
100
done
years
it.
ago. And anyway, I'm not going to get in an argument with you.
Oh, it's
No,
different in your
I
time.
agree. I couldn't do what I do on the road. I got to be in front of the computer.
So he goes out, he solves, he gets 10 out, but there's 40 left. So so if you stayed, you may have got out 25, so you're 15 in front.
You're right.
Yeah.
What did I leave behind yesterday? I only left.
No, I'm saying that example.
Oh, right. I wouldn't do that though. I wouldn't do that.
You did, because you did it the other day before.
When?
When? When I did it, I got everything else, and I sent you out, and someone else out, blah, blah, to get it out.
Okay, that's different. Again, I've been sort of thrown in.
No, Alex, but it wasn't so much for you. It's more of that's how we think a little bit different. Where our dad goes, just get in there, do it now, done. But for me, if you actually say, you know what, I'm not going to go. I'll find some other people to do it. Right? I get it. I get more done. That's less customers that we upset. Right, rather than and then less that we got to reissue, right? So, like, to me, that's a better result at the end of the day, rather than just
if you can guarantee they all get out, but you know,
I only left knowing you were here, Jack, because again, I'm fairly new to how to deal with these sort of situations.
You're more capable of doing things than you think you are.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not
Take
saying
that.
I'm not.
as a compliment.
that's a compliment.
I agree.
Okay.
But I knew
That's
you.
why I'm frustrated, 'cause
I knew you were
can do it.
here.
Yeah.
I knew you were here, and no disrespect after you gave me a compliment. You're not the best of teachers. So me standing over your shoulder, and I did ask you a question. I said, "How do you deal with this?" Like, because I want to know how to do it myself.
Yeah.
And you,
Can I show you?
And you did. Yeah.
See, that's good, Alex.
I'm going.
What'd you do? You asked a question, but these other times you don't ask. Do you know what I mean? With the other thing, you didn't ask me. There you asked me. There you asked me, and I gave you the answer.
You should fucking know. You should. The fact that you should know. That, how long have you been here for? How long have you been here for? You should know. That's what I don't like.
Anyway. But yeah, so we look at. That's the interesting that I find that we look at things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Because I always thought I'm starting to think a lot more like my dad, you know. But in some things we're different.
See, to me, if we have to get deliveries done today, I don't care how we do it. You get them done today, not tomorrow. You don't put it off till tomorrow.
But that's what I'm saying. But see, my scenario is ahead of yours. My outcome is better than you say. I'll just go out and do these myself.
How do you figure that?
I just explained.
No, you explained it with him. You didn't explain it with me. because I would still be on the phone organising those other ones.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
sure.
To get done.
It is.
Well, but Jack,
It's hard,
don't.
It's not that because
You're
you need to
discounting
know
it.
everything.
But I've done it.
Are you going to skip? I'm not going to argue with you. You're right.
No,
That's a
I
condescending
couldn't do it
right.
on the phone. I couldn't do it on the phone. But the only reason I left the other day is because I knew Jack was here. So I was like, all right, well, at least let me save Jack finding 2 drivers, because that's pretty much what I'm worth. 2 drivers, you know. I'll do one of those.
That's the other frustrating that I think I have. You know what is with no disrespect to first gens, but yeah, you did it. You did the job, say 20 years ago. But our business is a lot different. You may have done 40 deliveries in total 20 years ago. We're doing thousands nowadays. It's different. You can say, oh, it's the same. It's not different. Or everything's online, right? So you need to look at sheets online and do that. The only way if you could do the same job is you'll have to, before you go out, print out all the run sheets, have all the paper in that, and as you're driving, do it. But again, you can't drive. We have safety equipment in our trucks that you can't look at your phone.
I've heard excuses all my life. I've heard excuses.
Yeah.
I've heard excuses. Even back 20 years ago, when we were delivering, you know, I used to get from the drivers. I'd say to them, "How come you only did, you know, average 2-3 drops an hour on a Saturday?" Oh, because on a Saturday, the storemen don't come to. There's less storemen on. There's always an excuse, right? Then I jumped in a 10 pallet truck, right, and they had vans, right? Yeah. And another guy at the time, Rod, he jumped in an 8 pallet, right? And we said, right, on a Saturday, we'll do a run each, right? Yeah. We did it, and I averaged 6.6 an hour, and I think he was 6.8 an hour, or the other way around.
Had 4 shopping centres all that delivered at the same location.
No, it was a normal run. It was a normal run, Jack.
Anyway,
things don't change the way you think they do.
You know what also has changed in the last 20 years? Traffic. We can't do, and you can agree that we can't do as many deliveries now as we could 20 years ago, right?
No, you do, but it's all.
If it's not the traffic, it's the people in the e-scooters, it's the bikes.
Anyway, but we can all agree that traffic has got a lot worse now than it was 20 years ago. Right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
But now
and that affects how many deliveries you can do.
But back then, like you said, you know, we were only doing 80 deliveries a day, which and it was more than that. Let's say we were doing a couple of hundred. Now we're doing nearly 5,000. Yeah. But it's the same. So we should be able to do those per hour. It should be the same then, because it's more condensed. Where before I was going from this suburb to that suburb, now we've got 15, 20 in that one suburb. Less to drive.
I do see that logic.
Yeah, it doesn't always apply, but anyway. I'm glad that we have Catherine on because, you know, some of the things that we've discussed, right, it's good to get her point of it because, you know, I'd say Dad's like he's 50% old school wog, 50% he'll try new stuff, right? Which
That's
is
pretty good.
Yeah, no, it is good.
I am
He's an
definitely cutting
entrepreneur
edge.
and innovator as well as, a dad and conservative.
Mate, let me tell you, my dad, your nonno, mate, this is how it is, that's it. He would not listen to anything.
Yep.
That's his way, that's how he's done it. It works.
That's the way we've always done it.
And I used to always begrudge him for that, but it did work.
Yeah.
It did work, so you can't really take that away because it did work for him, and he was happy with that.
No, I say that because in some aspects in business, you are, I guess this goes back to the first gen, right? You're a bit old school in some ways, where now that I'm saying, okay, we need a structure of this, we need to do that, and you say, well, I've never needed to do it. I don't have to, we've gotten here, so it's working, we'll just keep doing this way. But I'm trying to say, if we're talking about handing over to the next generation, we need it. I feel like we need it structured in a way for us to grow it and continue to go on.
And that's that governance piece again.
Yeah. We can't just take it how you've done it because you've run it your way. I'm going to run it a little bit differently, right? Like clear example, how we just thought it's still both good outcomes. You try and get the job done, but there's 2 things that we do. I do it my way, you do it your way.
Yeah, but as long as the jobs still get done, we just saved $800.
Yeah, you just believe. I'm not going to argue. Whatever you want to say, you said, right? But that's the only thing. And I can't discredit anything because first gen's probably. I think first gen is probably I reckon the hardest, right, starting a business and then scaling it and getting up there. But I also feel like second generation is also pretty hard because now we've got to maintain it or grow it.
And grow it.
And you can't maintaining doesn't work these days.
No.
If you're just maintaining,
You're going backwards.
you're not
if
growing.
you're
If you're not growing, you're going down. And in our industry, it's very competitive. Right, all our costs are going up, and our customers want rates to go down, and so our margins are getting pulled, and we feel like we're trying to do everything that we think is the best to stay here longer. That's why we invest in our sites,
But getting that external perspective, again, going back to your forum group, we all have blind spots. And so if you've got a trusted group of people, whether it's an advisory board, whether it's your forum group or whoever else, that external perspective is actually really helpful a lot of the time as well, because you can't think of everything.
Yeah.
So it's really, and it comes back to everything you're talking about is around governance. What are the rules of engagement? What do we all agree on? What are the basics of that? And
I know we don't agree on HR.
Yeah, but that's a minefield.
Yeah, because, they're saying, we need HR to answer why.
Oh, John, I'm sorry, I'm not going to...
You see what I mean? This is just one topic, right? Like, I get how you say that,
you got
Dad,
a problem,
but it's
come
not,
talk to me.
Dad,
you couldn't be
What if the
more
problem's
right
with
in principle.
But we've done it for 27 years.
Yeah, but it's different now.
Why is it different?
Because
laws
we're
have
scaling.
changed.
The laws have changed, right?
Yeah.
And you got a lot
What do you
more
mean? People can't talk to me anymore?
No.
What do you mean no?
No, it's not. Some people don't. Some people don't want to talk to a family member of the business. They don't want to talk to them. They want to talk with, I don't know. They don't feel comfortable sharing certain things. It could be about a family member. Someone might not like Alex, right? They don't.
Yeah,
they're not going to tell you.
I get those conversations all the time.
But they may not tell you. They don't like me. They want to tell someone else. You know what I mean? It's just. It's
a very interesting world from an IR point of view, and things have definitely changed.
Yeah. Now, it's when you say HR, depending on the company, whether it's family businesses, whether it's a corporate, that can mean a couple of different things. Like, and where HR sits, like in some companies, we've seen HR sits right up the top and can make decisions over certain management where we would say, no, our HR wouldn't do that. They would do here and then report to this, right? It just depends where you put it, right?
So this actually comes back to a really fundamental, and it's quite a differentiating factor around culture. So, if you've got a culture that is positive and open or all sorts of things, and it's not easy to maintain, particularly as you get bigger quickly.
Yeah.
But culture and values, that's actually one of those things, the stats are that 70% of people trust family businesses over any other type of business, and that's a global survey. So there's a trust element there in family businesses, and then the preference of buying from family businesses, and the why is because people identify with family businesses. So then you look at the internal and you go, well, our values and our culture, what are they? How do you describe them? Some of them are very intangible, but some of them are very tangible. So that possibly, John, you're going, oh my God, she's talking about weirdo stuff, but
What? How do you read my mind?
but it is, you have a culture and you have values, whether you've articulated them or not.
Yeah.
Okay, we one of our customers, and it's a big customer, right? Their HR got rid of one of the senior managers, right? And the reason was because he was sort of like, telling some of the other staff, you got to do this, you got to do, why are you doing this? Like, to me...
His job?
He was doing his job. He was doing what he's supposed to do. How do you get rid of him? Why don't you go to the people that are bludging and make them more accountable?
You weren't there. You don't know the approach that the person took. You don't, it's all,
It's not easy.
Nobody likes to hear anything negative about themselves, right? But if your boss says to you, why are you making these errors? Why are you doing this? You're not following the right procedure, and you take offence to that. I don't know that. Again,
I don't think we should put you in charge of HR.
People only take offence to things that they believe is true.
Yeah.
Well,
If someone comes to me with
that's
a
very deep,
complaint,
Alex.
if someone comes to me with a complaint, I'm only going to get upset about it if I also think it's true or if I'm in the wrong. If I got nothing to hide, if I'm right, I don't know what you're talking about. Couple screws loose up there.
What going on to this, what are some of the challenges, common challenges that family businesses all size face as they go through generations?
So I think we've already touched on it. One of the things about succession is start early. Talk about it early.
Yeah.
You know, communicate. Then alongside of that is what can you agree around governance? Do you want an advisory board? Do you want a board? What's your constitution or your charter of your family business? You know, what are the rules so that when people have subjective views about things, you can go back and say, we all agreed about this. This is how we operate.
So we don't really have anything.
Well,
what you just said, we don't really have anything like that.
Well, there's a bit of work to be done there.
Yeah.
Have we got a deal for you?
Even with the board, like we had one family business association member say, you know, every family member sits on their board, right? And then we got someone else's opinion and they said, no, if that family member who doesn't work in the business can't bring anything of value to the business, that they shouldn't be on the board.
And so it's exactly the case.
And that made sense to me.
Yep, but that's the whole point. What makes sense to you collectively as a family is what makes sense. So you can listen to what other people say. And you know, these non-family or family members not working in the business, you know, that's an interesting scenario. And how much do they know? How much can they contribute? From a strategic point of view, what externally have they learned or, you know, got to offer? I mean, it's always about any board, regardless of it's a family business board or anything. What have you got to offer? What are you actually bringing to the board? Because if you're not bringing anything, then, you know, where's the value?
Yeah.
Boards should add value to the organisation, help with the strategic direction, all those sorts of things. So I think, again...
What would you do? Sorry.
Well, I think it depends at what...
If you had a daughter or a son that doesn't work in your family business.
Well, that's a really good question. So pretend I've got a family business. My two sons are very entrepreneurial and they are, you know, they're digital natives. They have got a whole lot of skills they've got a high risk tolerance. They've got a whole lot of things that I haven't got. Whether I could actually have them on the board for them to tell me what to do all the time is a different issue. But I recognise their skills and my skills are very different and they potentially are quite complementary. So in my personal situation, and they're very different personalities as well.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
What if one son is more...
The older one's the bossy one.
Well, let's say he has more value to your company. Would you pick one son over the other? No, I'm not saying pick one son. I'm saying like...
Yeah, so again, it depends what they're doing as their day job as well. Because if we're talking about a board or advisory position, it sort of depends a little bit about the context of what they're doing themselves. So if it was my family business, then this comes back to the governance. What are the rules? You know, yes, let's say one is just useless and can't offer anything, and the other one can offer a lot. Okay, how do we work through that so that there's some, as a mother or as a father,
without hurting the other one's feelings,
there's some equity in that, and all, you know, it's this is the complexity of it all. You know, it's not easy, but I think it's really just important to have that trust and open communication so that you come to good decisions.
I want to touch on the forum groups again.
Yeah.
Because I want to get mum or dad in one, right?
Yep.
How do you determine which person goes into what forum group?
So it's a great question. So we get an application from someone, we look at it and we go, and then we look across the state, for example, as to what groups have got room in them, but let's assume every group's got some room for an extra person.
Yep.
You look at who the facilitator is and you look at who's in the group. You determine there's no conflicts.
Yeah,
so
okay, cool,
you wouldn't have, you know, two transport people in a forum group together.
Yep.
And maybe even from a supply chain or point of view, you might not want to have customers, for example. So you look at the conflict situation. And then you actually get the person to meet with the facilitator. How does that feel? And then with a couple of members of the forum group, how does that feel? And then if it's all tick, tick, tick along the way, then they join the group. If either party feels that it's not quite right, we look for an alternative.
Yeah, okay.
So it's actually, it is a rigorous process to try to make sure we get it right for everybody, for the existing group and for the new participant.
What group do you think my dad will? Because he doesn't. He goes, "Oh no, I don't want to do it." And it's not like, but I think it's good. Even though he's still pulling back, he'll always be involved. We're always going to do other projects that he'll be involved in. Maybe sites in the back end, right? So what? Because I want to get him more involved. What group would you reckon?
I will take that offline. I'll have a bit of a look through the existing Victorian.
He's already looking at me like,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Work in progress.
Yeah, cool. And then Alex, maybe after I'm done, he can go into merge.
Yeah.
I think like after I got into it, and I met everyone, I was like, I probably should have got Alex to come in.
No, but do you know, it's really interesting what's evolving is we've already got people asking for another group in Melbourne. So we're not quite there yet, but we're actually halfway to getting potentially a new group up. So I'm going to add Alex to the list.
He definitely. I think he's at probably a great time where he is to be able to join, because he's been here for a couple of years, he understands, but there's obviously a lot more that I think he will get out of it. I've got stuff out of it. I think he will get a lot out of it as well.
Absolutely.
And it's good to get out there and meet people. I know you're not saying you need more friends, Dad, but it's still good to get out there, because there might be something else that you might want to do outside of Cold Xpress you've done that you could pick up through here or whatnot. I'm not selling anything on FBA, but you are playing golf. There you go. Actually, do you guys do you throw golf days?
No, I just attend yours.
That's right.
No, look, I'm very impressed you all play golf. I think golf's fantastic, but I don't have time to practice as much as I'd like to. It's very frustrating.
I've played more in the last 2 weeks than I have in the last 10 years combined.
Really?
Yeah, because I've taken a bit of time off work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But now we're trying to play a couple of times before work. So if we start at 6, we're playing for 6 a.m. We'd play 9 holes. We're done by 8 a.m. Then we're coming to work. So it works quite well.
And golf courses are beautiful. And in the morning, walking around a golf course, not a lot better than that.
Steps in.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Dad, did you wanted to talk about some rants?
Actually, I have something to say about you. So I was in the shops the other day. $15 for a chocolate bunny.
Really?
Bro, I'm like,
Bargain.
I was like,
it is very expensive though.
Yeah.
$15, and it wasn't even big. It was like,
I remember last year I bought something
bunny.
I think
Get
I bought
those
a bunny.
ones that are best used by and the date's already expired. They're cheap.
No. And not very nice.
So, Dad, you want
the laxative oil.
Dad, you want to talk about you put something forward to Dan. Why does it feel harder to raise a family today financially than it did 30 years ago?
The current generation are finding it very, very hard to make ends meet. Yeah. Now, I remember my generation when we were growing up, we were saying the same things. We were saying the previous generation had it easier. It's always there seems to be a pattern, and every generation thinks that they're always hard done by, and the other generation's better off. But to me, it's you get out of life what you put in. Yeah. My generation didn't do half the things that this generation does. We didn't go out for coffee in the morning. We bought, we packed our own lunch. We did all this. We didn't have phones. It was much simpler.
Right.
We drank out of garden hoses. I mean, now,
I sometimes still do that.
I don't see kids walking around now with casts anymore, or grazed knees, and you've taken all the. I think we're protecting our kids so much now that I think we've gone way too far.
There's also a lot of bad shit in the world that we need to protect them from as well.
Yeah, but
that also goes up.
These participation medals,
Yeah. You've got a lot with your name on it. Sorry.
We're not teaching the next emerging generation how to deal with failure.
Resilience.
Yeah, we're not teaching them. So, you did really well. You came 24th, but that's awesome. That's really good. Better than 25. No.
Oh, it is better.
We used to have first, second, third.
Sorry, the 24th speaking of.
we used to have first, second, third. And then if you ever did get one of those, you treasured it.
By not highlighting first, second, and third, you're sort of taking away their achievement. I agree.
Yeah.
If you highlight everyone, it takes the spotlight off.
So
one,
what?
two, and three.
Okay.
Because then when
It does.
you know,
Everyone gets
if,
a trophy.
if you grow, even in footy, you know, some of the junior leagues they don't score, you know, because they don't want winners and losers.
For a
you know,
sauce kick, yeah. They let it have fun. What do they score for?
Mate, they know the kids. The kids know.
Yeah,
And they're saying, "We beat you. We beat." You know, the kids know. You know, but what's wrong with having a winner and a loser? Sometimes you learn more in defeat than you do by winning. You know, we're losing the art.
Yeah, of course you do.
Of you know, not coming second, but we're losing that.
How to deal with defeat? How to overcome it for the next time?
Yeah, because what happens? You know, if you're a child and you grow up, always, yes, you're the best. Yes, everything. As soon as you hit,
How was it? It was
18 years old or 20 years old, and you go out in the workforce and you hear that first no, you crumble. You got no idea how to handle it. But hang on, I'm the best. My mum said so. You know, it just doesn't work. Anyway, that's what I think about that.
What did you want to talk about?
Okay, there was a couple of things. The government spending.
Yeah.
Right. To me, that was.
what's bomb?
That's
the weather. My weather. App.
Bureau of Meteorology.
Meteorology.
That's the one. Right. Now, they wanted. They put in for. They want to redesign their website, and they said it was going to cost 4.1 million. Right. Mm-hmm. It blew out to over $90 million.
Yeah, and it's like inaccurate, right? The other one was better.
I simply lick my finger. Good to go.
But seriously, I believe that if
machete bins all over again.
Everyone who has to be in the government should run a small business at some stage, because they have
you've
no idea.
Said that before.
I have.
Yeah. He says it every podcast.
Yeah, and no one's listening. Why? We've got the same people running things. You know, to me, it's just such a waste of money. If someone puts in for 4.1, how does it get to not? Who says yes? Who says yeah? Keep going. And why can't the politicians?
Gets to a point where it's like if they stop, they just wasted 4.1.
Okay, I'd rather waste 4.1 than 92. You got to say, okay, well, it's not going to work.
Might be easier to explain that at least we've come out with something rather than we've just lost.
Yeah,
4.1.
but the website that they came out with apparently wasn't even that good. The other one was better.
Is there anything else that you wanted to discuss?
There might be just one, picking up on something that John just said. So one of the areas of focus, and some people get surprised as to why this is the case, but advocacy about family businesses is really important to government. And one of the things that happened a few years ago was there was a Minister for Small and Family Business appointed in South Australia, Andrea Michaels. And what we've seen since then is a Minister for Small and Family Business appointed in Queensland. There was momentarily an opposition for small and family business in Victoria. But one of the things I keep saying, and really, John, it's about having some focus on family business. So yes, we've got small business ministers around the place, but if you put the word family in there, that starts to give us an opportunity to engage with that particular minister to say these are some of the key challenges around for family businesses, and how can we, whether it's a policy thing, one of the things that I spent a lot of time last year on was around self-managed super funds and the proposed unrealised gains. And the non-indexation of it and a few of those things. Now, I'm not for 1 minute taking credit for the fact that the government changed their mind, but there was enough conversation around that it wasn't great policy. And to the government's credit, they took it away. So people say, well, what is it? What can you advocate on for family businesses? There's actually quite a lot that will recognise the family business sector. Going back to that point about 70% of Australian businesses, if you lose the diversity of family businesses and the nature of a family business, if suddenly that decreases significantly, Australia's way worse off. And family businesses are very philanthropic and very, support a whole lot of charities that otherwise aren't supported. And that's, again, that heart of a family business and that culture of a family business, of giving and looking after and all those sorts of things. So you know, one of the things that I think is probably one of the most exciting things about my job is how can we lift the profile of family businesses? So whether it be a politician or someone down the street recognises and celebrates family businesses. There you go. That was my little...
It's good. The problem that I see with the politicians is they just don't want to answer a question. They don't want to give a straight answer. They beat around the bush all the time. You know, I'm looking at it, you know, things come out like the interest rates, you know, went up, you know. Albanese was asked questions. He's making jokes about things. I'm thinking, you know, is this guy for real? You know...
The other thing, the biggest thing is that killed us, and we said it last year, is the land tax in Victoria, right? And just running a business in Victoria is a lot harder than any other state because there's a lot more taxes that we get taxed here than there. Like that's one thing that you know that
they're saying the state needs money. Yeah, okay. So where do they look? Oh, businesses. You guys have got all the businesses, they make so much money. We'll just take some, but they don't understand how close to the line a lot of businesses are, and just one little thing can send them over, but they don't seem to. I don't know, and that's why I said, you know, you should have, if you're going to rule the state or the country, what are your credentials? What, because you've been part of the union before? No, you need to have managed something successfully. You know, did you have a successful business? Why should we allow you to run the country?
We vote for them.
I still don't know anyone who voted for them.
We don't have a choice to vote.
I actually do not know anyone who voted for it. Yeah. But yet they keep getting in. But it was like someone said, you know, you've got a business, right? I'm going to take, you know, $10,000 off you, and I'm going to give it, you know, 1,000 to 10 of these blokes over here that don't work. So all of a sudden, yep, it just lost your vote, but guess what? It just gained 10. And that's where I think we are with the state of the government at the moment. You should, anyway, that's my rant.
All right, well, if you've got other questions, I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah, great.
Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. It's been a good discussion. I've learned something. Hopefully, Alex, Dad, you guys learned something. Thank you guys for tuning in, listening. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next show.